Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's press conference. The Bulldogs are back at home for the first time in a month as they take on Furman, 2 o'clock at Johnson-Haygood Stadium for Parents Weekend. Here to talk about the Bulldogs, head coach Brent Thompson.
Yeah, I grew up in the wonderful Glenn Foley era, Neil O'Donnell.
All right. First of all, I'll be brief about last week's game. I told the guys that we needed to move on from it, but just a little bit of brief synopsis as I see it, as I saw it. And when you play a very good FBS team, no matter who they are, and I know that they're fairly new, but they are a really good FBS team, is you have to be on point. Is when you go back and you watch about 2 or 3 of those throws, there's probably about 2 or 3 of those throws that I don't think anybody in this league can make. There's a fade ball and a touchdown. The first touchdown, which was across the field, I was just really impressed with their quarterback play and their offensive line play. I think they do a really good job there. Unfortunately, offensively, I thought we played tentative and scared at times. We really didn't get off the ball as fast as we really needed to. We showed some signs of life there a little bit in the second and the third quarter where we were able to move the ball. But, you know, when you can't hold on to it and you can't keep it away from their offense, is those games are going to go that way. We just needed to be better overall from an offensive perspective. But special teams-wise, nothing too eventful there on special teams, so did a fairly good job with that. I told the guys that we've got to move on quickly. We've got to move to Furman. We watched, I'd say, maybe a dozen or so plays on each side of the ball from the App State game before we moved on to Furman yesterday. Got everything set, ready to go, game plan-wise, and ready to get started on them officially on Tuesday. It is a rivalry game. We all know that. It's a very important game here. It is a home game, as John said, for the first time in about a month, so it'll feel good to get back at home, get back in a little bit of routine, and just get off the road. So we're looking forward to it. We lost a tough one last year to them, and we're looking forward to kind of regaining the upper hand and the edge in this series here. Questions?
I feel like you're going to get an angry Furman team after the SoCon came out with a statement about their officiating in their game last week.
Well, if they're angry about that, then I understand. However, I've had my anger issues with officiating at times. We all get it. We all kind of get what we deserve at times.
Talk about Furman and what they present and what they kind of bring and what you got to do to come in.
Well, what we have to do to win is score points. Is one thing we haven't been able to do in 8 quarters. So that's our number one goal, is to be able to score, possess the football, hold on to the football, and be a little bit more physical than we were last week. Defensively, there's 2 really main things that we've got to stop. The running back, he hurt us twice last year on 2 really big runs, and the tight end, who was an All-American. So if we can do all of those things, we should have an okay day. If we don't, we'll struggle again.
Offensively, what are the major deficiencies that you've seen so far? What you said you've seen signs.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've seen signs in just the last 2 games. We turned it over in the inside the 5-yard line twice. I mean, that's points right there. Missed a field goal in the Mercer game right there, so that's points right there. We're just handing points away, and when we don't have to, is we just got to stay on track, stay on course there. As I said, is we need to probably tighten up our game plan a little bit, play a little bit faster, get off the ball a little bit quicker, and just overall, just kind of execute a little bit better. Well, bigger plays, they've really become harder and harder, and it's some of it is due to the cut blocking rule. You're not really cutting block downfield. You're not getting people off their feet, and that kind of creates big plays because you're getting second level and third level defenders. So really the big plays have to be in the play action game, and I think that's really the way the game has gone through the passing game. Is all of the big plays have got to go through that now. We've been able to, even when we looked at last week's film, we were probably a step here or there away from a big play, just breaking the fullback out like we did against Tennessee on a trap play. And, it's a step here or there. It's just a little bit out of position, one spot or the other. We can bust one. But, yeah, we do. We need to have some more explosive plays. We're not getting as many to the perimeter. But App State was pretty fast to the perimeter. Those guys noticeably pretty fast. Mercer pretty fast to the perimeter as well. So it probably more starts with our inside run game. Establish that, and that way we can get to the perimeter a little bit better.
You said you were going to on Green on film.
Ahmad did a good job. He was a little bit nervous in his first snap there. You noticed it. I didn't notice it from the sideline, but you can notice it on the film. After that, he settled in. I thought it was good to get a few reps in there. I think moving forward, we'll just kind of see how it plays out. But Peyton is more steady in there at this point.
Do you feel like with the amount of transfers you have now, you have to kind of explain the Furman rivalry a little bit? It's not like ingrained in guys, or do you spend any time doing that?
I think it's kind of no matter where you go and who you talk to, they're going to be informed quite a bit about the Furman rivalry, and I think it goes back even before. It's more like when you come here, you start to hear about those rivalries between the Furman, the VMI, and even the Wofford. I'll explain it a little bit, but I don't think it's going to need much explanation.
Just talking about being back at home, and obviously last time we were here, had a lot of success.
Yeah, it certainly will be nice to be back at home. Just be nice to be off the road. The road trips and the afternoon and evening games get to be long and long nights getting back home. So it'll be nice to be able to play an afternoon game at home, ring weekend, which is always good, family weekend, which is always good. And I know it's going to be a crowded house here, and people will be excited to get back to Charleston to be able to watch. For our guys as well, I think it'll be nice for those guys. Some guys that don't get an opportunity to dress on road trips get an opportunity to dress for home games. So it gets them a little bit of a reward for all the practice and effort that they put in throughout the last 3 weeks.
Are you more resilient than the players more resilient than you were?
That's a great question. I think this year I've become a lot more resilient. The players I always thought got over it a lot quicker than I did. I would beat myself up over it for a good solid Saturday night, at least a good solid Sunday. But I started to realize that the way that I am and the way that I portray myself, and to not just to my family but to my staff and to the players, is it could bring us all down. So that's why I vowed this year, and especially last week, that we needed to move on from this one really quickly. And I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time harping on the obvious, which was we just didn't play very well. Whether it was preparation, that's my fault. I've got to get them better ready to play, and that's what we got to do this week.
How do you keep them upbeat?
There's still plenty to play for. We've lost. It seems like we're forever into the season, but we've played 4 games. We're just a little bit over a third of the way through. We're 1-1 in the conference. It's not like we're out of the conference hunt or out of the conference run. And we still got plenty to play for at this point, and we should still be excited to play.
Talking about that, you're only 1-1 in conference play, kind of just getting started. Are you maybe more eager for this part of the season now, or kind of changing?
Well, if you look at it, and I'm not rationalizing this at all, but if you look at it, we've played some pretty darn good teams. Campbell goes and puts it on a pretty good North Carolina Central team, 49-14 or something. Mercer's a good team. I think between all of them, they've got one FCS loss. Mercer's got an FCS loss right there. App State doesn't have any. Obviously, they've got an FBS loss there. Mercer's got an FBS loss there. And that's it. So we've played some pretty good teams. The schedule's been kind of rough, but we've made it through that part of the schedule. We beat ETSU, which is good. We needed to at least get one of those wins. I would like to have had 2. Right now we're looking down. The rest are all conference games. We should be excited, ready to go. And we have the majority of those games at home. So we feel at least like we've got a chance, and we've got plenty to play for moving forward.
And how do you keep the confidence going?
Defensively, we shouldn't have an issue. We're still playing pretty good on defenses. Like I said, they made some pretty darn good plays, and that's a really good offense. Our offense is we've got to find our mojo a little bit, and we had it a little bit during the ETSU where we moved the ball fairly well. Lost a little bit at Mercer, and I think it carried over. I don't want this to carry over, so we got to pick up our pace, our tempo a little bit more. But you look at it, we finally started to move the ball. We had a really good 13, 14 play drive, whatever it was, just didn't get any points. So there's some signs of life there. We just got to figure it out.
Consistency, I think, is probably
Absolutely, consistency is an issue, and we've got a few young guys here and there that we're still kind of getting into the role. We had to move some things around with Tyler Cherry being hurt, so we had to play a couple of different guys last Saturday.
Big is he going to be back?
No, Tyler won't be back this week.
Any other injuries?
Not right now. Marquise Blunt will be day to day, week to week, I think, at this point. He didn't play last week either. All right, thank you, guys.